where sports is the base, life and fun are the results. This is The Brian Snow Show.
Yes, we are rolling right along into 2025 and hope that y'all are having a very wonderful new year, and may your new year be brighter than last year. I have a storyteller that I want to introduce, and this comes via a recommendation. This storyteller is also, I don't want to use the term survivor. Survivor seems tame. This storyteller is a conqueror because there was a child involved. And y'all know children are very, very, very dear to me, as I have 5 of them myself. I have many a grandchild. Why don't I just bring it to you? Let's go to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Not Louisiana, Louisiana. Here's LaShonda Irving. She
Hello,
joins me right now.
everyone.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. Tell me about the fight that you won when you weren't supposed to win it. I want to hear this.
It all started on September the 2nd of 2004. I was pregnant with my daughter that's now 20 years old. And I noticed some changes with my body throughout my pregnancy. So I ended up going to the doctor. I was complaining of headaches.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to the doctor. They found out that I had a lot of protein in my urine at the time.
Right.
And so he put me on bed rest. So when he put me on bed rest, I was like, oh, I keep gaining so much weight, keep gaining so much weight. And he was like, that's
Right.
all the protein in your system. And he was like, you have a lot of fluid on you, so we're going to put you on bed rest.
Mm-hmm.
Where I started experiencing some more symptoms come the next day, which was September the 3rd, 2004. And I started having real bad headaches, nausea real bad, and I called in, and they basically told me to keep an eye on if it get worse, just
Mm-hmm.
come on in. So I remember on September the 4th, 2004, I was laying down on the couch, and this was like around lunchtime. And at the time, my husband, then I told him, I said, I want some Wendy's. And I told him what I wanted. I told him I wanted double bacon cheeseburger, nuggets with some, with a bacon and cheese baked potato. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what he went and got. So I ate that and I laid down after I ate that. And then I woke up out of my sleep and I was feeling so bad. And I was like, I feel sick on the stomach. So, of course, I went and everything I ate came up. So he was like,
Ooh.
let me run you some water to give you a warm bath so you can feel better. So I did that. And once I got out the tub and got dressed, I went and laid back down. But he was like, next thing you know, I was on the floor seizing real bad.
Mm.
So he rushed me to the hospital. They rushed me to the hospital. They told him that my kidneys failed, my lungs failed. Um,
Oh man.
they was telling me they had to take my baby. Of course, the baby was okay, but it was just me.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to give me 6 pints of blood, and everything was just going down from there. And they
Oh
told
my
him that I
gosh.
was touch and go, touch and go. I was in and out. I was in and out. So the next thing I know, that I was on a ventilator. And how I know I was on a ventilator, because they ended up waking me up and they told me to be still and not to move. I remember them telling me that. And they say the first when I was trying to talk to them, they still had the ventilator on me, and they was like, "Be still, don't say anything." So the minute they took it out, they was like, I asked for the first thing I asked for was some Wendy's, which was kind of a joke within
Mm-hmm.
the situation. So, with all of that going on, I didn't know I was in a coma for a little while. I was in a coma for almost a month.
Oh wow.
Yes. And like I said, they was telling my family that I wasn't going to live. I was in and out of it. And so next thing you know, after I had her, they was telling me that because of the medication that I was on, because I had to get 6 pints of blood. I
Mm-hmm.
was basically on Coumadin because I had blood clots in my lungs and everything. And I had to be on blood pressure medicine because when they rushed me to the hospital, my blood pressure was like 200 over 100 and something.
Yow.
Yes.
Ooh, wee.
Yes. And it was a life experience because they told me by me being on all that medication, they
Mm-hmm.
thought I wasn't gonna be able to have any more kids and all of that. And it's like 2 years later, my 18-year-old came. And to be honest, my 18-year-old, when I got pregnant with her, I was scared. I was scared the whole time. I was kind of in a depressed mode when I knew that I was like, oh Lord, I don't want to go through what I experienced
Mm-hmm.
before. I don't want to have to deal with all of this. But with support on my side, I got through it.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
That's wonderful. I love the joke that you slipped in that when you came out of your coma, the first thing you wanted was Wendy's.
Yes.
I mean, when I came out of surgery for my pancreatic cancer, the first thing I wanted to do was eat.
Yes.
But I was so exhausted that when I saw my wife and my in-laws, I said, "Okay, we're good. We can go back to sleep."
Mhm.
Now that you have been given this second chance, what's the first purpose that you either did or in the process of doing with it?
Where I actually wrote a book about my
Wow.
experiences and what I went through. The name of my book called Love, Life, and Unexpected Endings. Of course, out of all of that, I ended up getting a divorce, basically. And I think a lot of that played a part in it because not just with me going through what I was going through, I experienced miscarriage before I had my 20-year-old.
Mm.
Yes. And so it's like I never knew how to deal with that. My ex-husband didn't know how to deal with that. And there was a lot of pressure on us. We never dealt with all of the stuff that we had coming to us. So
Yeah.
now the learning experience that I learned is writing a book about it, helping other people, giving them information on how they can deal with it, and always seek help. Don't just say you can do it on your own. You have to seek help.
Yeah, you do. Because when I found out um, that I got diagnosed, first of all, when I got diagnosed with blood clots in both my lungs,
Hmm.
I was scared. I was scared as all get out that I had just met Jody
Hmm.
um, 2 years prior. We met in 2018, got married in 2019, and I found out that I have that my body's turning against me. I was scared, and with some of the problems I'm still dealing with, partially because I'm being stubborn, but I got some sense knocked into my head from my kids and my wife.
Hmm.
But I was scared. And I know you going through a miscarriage before you had your first child. I know that had to frighten the daylights out of you because when you did turn on pregnant, everything that you did not deal with, the fear, the depression,
Right,
all of the negative feelings, all of the negative thoughts, and you didn't combat it more to the point you didn't know how to combat it. I
right.
know they had to play a role in this.
Yes, it did. It really did. It was a stressful situation. It was very emotional, and like I talk to my daughters and I tell them, especially my 18-year old, I was like, "You was a blessing. You was a blessing," because they said that I wasn't supposed to have any more kids.
Hmm. And you weren't even supposed to be here because you were
Right, supposed to be here.
right,
Yes,
because you told so
yes,
many times that that it was touch and go.
yes.
My wife was told a few times that the surgery was going to go longer than she expected from me. It was only supposed to be a 3.5 hour surgery. Took nearly 6 hours to do, but
Mm-hmm.
here we are, a pair of conquerors, still here. You wrote your book. I'm in the process of writing mine. What else? What other things do you want to do to make an impact?
Bring awareness to the situation because a lot of women to this day they still don't know a lot of things, and you have to do your research They still don't know. Like, well, my first child, my first daughter, that was my second daughter. My first child, she just went through a pregnancy to where we kind of had a scare, and I was like, "Oh Lord, please don't let her have what I had," you
Yeah.
know. And it was a stressful situation. I was like, "Oh, I can't wait till you have her," but at the same time, I want her to be a healthy baby. I want her to be delivered on time because I
Hmm.
was a scared mother and a grandmother at the same time.
Yeah.
So it worried me on up till she had her. So she had her August the 1st,
Hmm.
and she's been a blessing since. Yes.
That's wonderful. I love hearing stories like that. When I lost my daughter in 2015 at the age of 2,
Mhm.
I gave up on having a family. I gave up because I said, you know what? I think that was my last chance. And then at the time I was going through an abusive relationship.
Mhm.
So I kind of gave up on love altogether.
Mhm.
Then Jody showed up and smiled at me, and as I often say, she raced the clock and pulled me back from the cliff.
Mhm.
If you could point to a person or an instance that pulled you back from the cliff, what was it, or who are they?
My grandmother. My grandmother. To this day, she's still very encouraging. She still pray over me. She's still giving me them scriptures to read in the Bible to be able to stay on track. My grandmother. My grandmother was, yes, she was the main one.
And if I could point, I point to my wife and my children all the time. But if I can point to a couple people that are not here that still give me direction, my daughter Donna and my father William, because you point to people that give you direction, and you and I are part of a Facebook group that helps to tell stories. And Lacole came to me and said, "You need to tell this story," and I'm glad we had a chance to tell the story today. Where can
Yeah.
people find you?
You can find me at LMI Collection LLC on Facebook, Instagram, and I'm also on TikTok on the LMI Collection LLC.
This is LaShonda Irving. She's one of my favorite storytellers. I'd love to have you back to tell some more stories with us, because that's what the Brian Snow Show is all
Yeah,
about. I'd love to have you back.
I would love to be back.
She's going to come back, folks. We're going to have a lot of repeat guests. I'm telling you that right now. We'll be back after this.
Where sports is the base, life and fun are the results. This is the Brian Snow Show.